Hey guys, Steve Dispenza here with Tampa Real Estate Secrets. Welcome to our May 2017 market update for the Tampa area. We're going to get you started with a couple of news items, and we're going to look at some market trends and analysis and actually analyze a recent sale here in the Tampa area. So be sure to stay tuned for all that. Let's get started with the news. All right, so our first news item is a quote that actually came in from a report off of The Real Deal. Bruce Earhart of Cushman and Wakefield, he says that the overall Tampa Bay land cycle has 5 to 6 years left and solid growth for the next 3 years. Population and job growth are the drivers. So this is good news for Tampa Bay. What it basically means, Cushman and Wakefield are a large commercial real estate developer, and they see a lot of opportunity here to continue for both residential and commercial development, mainly being that the population of the area is going up. There are jobs coming to the area, businesses moving here. This is all very good things for real estate in Tampa Bay and for the region in general. All right, let's move on to our next item. So Easton Park was actually named the best neighborhood in both Tampa and the state of Florida and 19th in the country. This is a report that came from bizjournals.com. It ranked Easton Park number 1 with an overall grade of A+. The housing availability was an A+, nightlife A, diversity was given an A. And here's the really interesting thing, that the median home value was $224,659, which is only double the median household income. That is a sign. The closer the home value is to the median household income of an area, of a very healthy housing market. When you have housing markets where the median income is 4, 5, sometimes even 10 times the value of the median income compared to the median home value, I mean, you have an issue where people are spending way more money than they should be on housing, and it doesn't leave them with any disposable income for other things, such as spending money out at local businesses, taking trips, vacations, and anything that they can do to improve their community. So Easton Park in Tampa, New Tampa, is rated the number 1 neighborhood in the area and the number 1 neighborhood in the state. So very good news. Congratulations to Easton Park. Now, our last news item of the day: developers capitalize on Tampa's growth. So at a recent conference, a number of developers came to talk about how they are developing in Tampa and the opportunity in the area. And we have a great quote here from J.D. Porter, who's the CEO of Wiregrass Ranch, family-owned development company. He said, "If you had asked me 5 years ago whether 5,000 acres would be enough land, I would have said yes. But now you're seeing a definitional change, with Tampa becoming one of America's best cities." So it's very good news. Developers are still seeing a lot of opportunity here in Tampa. A lot of this has to do with population growth, because jobs are still coming to the area, which means that more people are moving in. There's more opportunity for developers to build and see those homes get sold. All right, guys, so that's it for our news stories. We're going to move on to some market analysis, and we're going to start with a little market insight. So if you can look here on your screen, we have some data up there. I want to talk about just a couple of things. Number one, here we're really looking at, we've got 3,766 new listings, new homes hitting the market, 4,216 new pendings. These are houses that were for sale that have entered into contract, and we had 2,894 closings, all in the month of April 2017. Now, if we look at how that compares to the prior month of March 2017, we can see that new listings are down about 10%, new pendings are down about 2.7%, closed sales are down about 11%. A lot of this has to do, don't think that there's some big decrease in the market month to month. There is an inventory shortage. There simply aren't enough houses available for the number of people who want to buy. The winter months, January, February, you tend to see more buyers coming down from areas up north. They're down here, they're vacationing, and they tend to buy homes during those time frames. So what you're seeing is that you had closings and pendings and homes go up for sale in that time frame that are now in contract, that are sitting there. You can see that the pendings are only down 2%. So it's still a sign of a very healthy market, because if we look back at this data, you'll also notice that our numbers are up 1.7%. They're in new listings hitting the market, but importantly, 3.1% in pending sales from April of last year. So we are still seeing some growth in the market there. And the most important number is that this median sold price here is sitting at $212,000, which is up 10% from this same time last year. So from April 2016 to April 2017, we saw a change of 10.4% in the median sold price of a home in Tampa. So that is a sign of a very healthy housing market. You know, if your home is appreciating at 10% every year, that is beating inflation by almost 6%. I mean, that is absolutely, beating the prime interest rate by about 6%. That's great news. Absolutely great news if you're a Tampa homeowner. The value of your house is going up. If you don't own a home and you're looking to buy in Tampa, well, all signs point to values are going to continue to rise, at least for the time being, until we see some massive spike in interest rates. Either way, if you're on the fence about buying, you're better off purchasing lower no matter what, because the interest rate cycles, they can change. You may wind up with an adjustable rate mortgage. You may have to refi down the road, but you want to lock that price in today. Get that price in. If you're thinking about buying, do it sooner rather than later. As we start to hit the summer months now, there's a lot of houses that maybe have been on the market for a while and didn't sell, and people start looking at some pretty aggressive pricing reductions. So if you're thinking about buying, this is a great time. All right, let's take a look at our next section of our market insight. We're going to look at some year-to-year analysis just to kind of go give you an idea. We have a change of 6.62% in the dollar volume of sold properties from this time last year. And then just looking over here, pendings, we have a decrease of 3.07% over the same time last year. So there's 5,815 pending closings as opposed to 5,999 this time last year. Now, in all honesty, not really a big deal. Those numbers are very small, but everything about them points to the fact that there's an inventory shortage. Simply, there's just not enough houses to sell, not enough people are looking to sell at this time, which is also partially what's driving prices up higher, because the supply is lower, the demand is higher, well, the price raises until we have an equilibrium price and people can actually buy. Now, just look at one other thing here real quick. I just wanted to show you the sold detail. I don't know if you can make this out on your screen, but if we take a look at, when we're looking at your typical 3-bedroom home right in the middle of the market, okay, the highest number of actual single-family homes, okay, sold would be 344 homes in the 150,000 to 199,000 range. So that seems to be the sweet spot for actually pricing a home and getting it to move fast. The most homes is the most buyers looking for a 3-bedroom between $150,000 and $199,000. All right, so we're going to move on to our final section of today's market update. This is going to be our sample sale analysis. So we're going to be looking at a house that actually sold up in Egypt Lake. I don't give out the addresses, but I'm going to give you some details about it, and we'll just go over a little bit of the history of what went on with this house, and we will get you some insight maybe into the process, some actual ideas taken, and what they did. So let's take a look. Okay, so we have this house up in Egypt Lake. It is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, 2,200 square feet, no pool. Looking at the pictures, basically I can say the house definitely needed some upgrades. There's definitely some work that can be done there to modernize that kitchen. The tiling looks a little bit dated. Overall, it's a nice house. It's a good size. You got that 4 bedrooms, 3 full baths, you know, which is great. So this house sold on May 31st for $210,000. Now, let's look back at the beginning. This house first hit the market on January 16th for $249,900. So we have a difference of $39,900 between what the house was listed for and what it actually sold for. Now, why did this happen? Well, we start looking at the pricing strategies. Within 5 days of the house hitting the market, there was already a price reduction of about $10,000. When you see a price reduction like this that quickly after the house hits the market, normally it's because they get some immediate feedback that the house is overpriced. I can't say for sure, but I know in my experience doing this, I usually try to have an open house within a couple of days of the house hitting the market, and I try to capture as much feedback as I can at that open house. Now, if I have an open house and I have 10 people, 15 people, 20 people come through, and every last one of them says the house is nice but it's overpriced, I got to go back to the buyer, to the seller, and tell them that immediately. So they have to have that information. So most likely what we're seeing here is they got some early feedback saying that the house is overpriced. And let's look at what happened next. So they dropped the price down to $239.9, and they kept it there for 2 weeks. And then they dropped it again to $235. My guess is that this was part of the plan, part of the agreement that was made when they did that initial price drop. The agent was probably pushing for a larger price drop. The owner probably only wanted to do 10. The agent wanted 15. And they cut a deal. They said, okay, we'll do this. We'll drop down from $249 to $239. If you don't, 2 weeks later, we'll do another $5,000 price drop. And then they dropped another $15,000. Okay, just 12 days later. So they were way overpriced. They were coming out. They weren't getting any traction. They were doing anything they could. Now, at this $219.9 number, the house is probably priced pretty well. I think that house of this size in that neighborhood at $219,900, house needs some updates. It's livable, but I think they're pretty much hitting their sweet point there. So the agent, that was probably the price the agent actually wanted to go out at. So we're taking a look at this. So what happens now? So he's got his price reduction. He's at $219.9. This is closer to the market value of the house. And within about 3-4 weeks, they go pending. So there's probably some negotiation period in here, but I'd say within 2 weeks he had his offer, maybe a little over that 2-week time, and the house goes into contract. Now they're in contract for 20 days. So 20 days into this contract, it falls apart. Now, most likely, what we're looking at here is one of two things. Something came up on the inspection. So there's an inspection period, and they can back out of the contract if they provide notice within that time frame. Or you could be talking about a financing issue. So somebody thought they were going to get a mortgage. They find out for some reason they're not going to get this mortgage, and they pull out of the deal. So now, on March 31st, this house goes back on the market. And this is the last thing you want if you're a seller, because once your house falls out of contract, everybody starts wondering what happened. Why did this go wrong? As an agent, I'm assuming that it was an inspection issue. There's something wrong with this house. It could be a foundational issue. You could be talking about termite infestations. You could be talking about mold. It could be one of 100 different things, but it's important we think about this stuff, because as a buyer, you're going to have to basically pay to fix these things after you close. So you don't want to close on a house that has all these issues, paying a full price for it when you can get some sort of deduction for what are some clear problems. Now let's look at what happened next. So the house is back on the market for another 2 weeks, and they did find another buyer. We can see here on April 16th. And then they were able to close in a reasonably quick amount of time. We're talking about a 6-week close, so we didn't even go. They did about 45 days, and that deal closed on May 31st for a final sale price of $210,000. So one of the real issues when we look at a sale like this house sat on the market for 5 months from when it first was listed until it finally closed. Now, let's just say that the homeowner's carrying costs in that time frame. They have got a mortgage payment, they've got taxes, they maybe have an HOA or community fee. Let's just say that it was $1,000 a month. In that time frame, from when they decided to sell till they actually closed, they had $5,000 in carrying fees. Now, when you think about selling your home, you want it to move fast, but you also want to get the best price for it. I would never tell somebody to take a price less than what the house is worth just to get the deal done quickly. But how do we actually get a home to sell fast? Well, a real key is to price it right. I mean, if you look at this sale that we just looked at here, the number of price reductions that took place in it, the falling out of contract, going back on market, there's a lot of simple things that they could have done to prevent this from happening. And you can actually read about a lot of these little steps and tricks and tips. I have a book, Tampa Home Selling Secrets, and that is for anyone looking to sell a home. We also have Tampa Home Buying Hacks for anyone looking to buy a home. But what's important about this is that if you want to get the best price, you have to take in consideration whether you can afford to let that house sit there on the market, for a certain amount of time. There's a price that you can get in 180 days that you can't get in 60 days. And the truth of the matter is the difference between those prices isn't that much that it very rarely makes it worthwhile carrying the house for that period. So what you want to do is you want to take a real good analysis, price that house perfectly. You can price it competitively. You can price it, you can be very, very, you can go overboard with the pricing. I mean, you can price it above the market and you can get that number, but it's going to take different things. Big thing I like to do is I do video for all the homes that I sell because I can use that to show people who are out of town, who are up north, who are coming down and buying here, exactly what's available. And I also do them really, really nice with music and narration. It creates this little emotional connection to the house. And I've gotten people's prices on houses they couldn't believe they were ever going to get. So, I mean, it's something to consider. But if you're looking to sell your house, definitely give me a ring, 516-343-0052, or you can email me at steve.dispenza@gmail.com. I'd be happy to give you a little bit of an analysis of what your house is actually worth, what a real market price is that the house is going to sell for, and, I'd love to help you any way I can to get that home sold. All right, guys, this has been Steve Dispenza with Tampa Real Estate Secrets with your May 2017 market report. Be sure to download your free Tampa home buying hacks or Tampa home selling secrets guide, and I'll see you next time.